games you should never play, part 7. The elevator game. The point of this game is to go to a parallel universe. To play you need to go to a building that has at least 10 floors. And you need to be the only one in the elevator at all times. If somebody interrupts the game, start over. Then go to the floors 4, 2, 6, 2, 10 and 5, in this exact same order. Once you're in the 5th floor, a woman should enter the elevator. But don't speak to her and don't look at her, because she's not a human. And she will take you and keep you with her forever if you interact with her. Then press the 1st floor and the elevator will go up or down, but it will take you to the 10th floor. At this point, leave the elevator immediately. The woman will ask you where are you going, but do not respond. If you see a red cross outside one of the windows, then you reach the other world. You're alone there, your phone doesn't work and it's dark outside. Go back to the steps all over again. But when you reach the 1st floor and something doesn't feel right, don't leave the elevator, because you will die. Would you play this game?
Creatures in the Backrooms, Part 4. The windows are entities in the shape of windows. The windows have a figure inside, always pointing at its target. If the target is unaware of the figure, it will attack immediately. If not, the figure will try to bargain with the target. Never trust any windows on any level. Creepy Facts, Part 60. In 1999, the It's a Small World ride in Disneyland in California broke down. Over the loudspeaker, the announcer instructed all of the people who were evacuating the ride to keep their eyes forward as they walked out. One lady decided to snap a couple pictures as she was walking out in order to complete her film. When she got home and examined her roll of film, she found this picture, which appears to be a child hanging from the rafters of the ride. For the longest time, people have thought that this was actually a child who hung himself in the ride. However, there are several things that don't add up to this story. If the little boy was deliberately hanged, why was it there? How would the person have gotten up there to hang him in the first place? Well, you don't really have to ponder over these questions because it's very obviously fake. The child is just a doll that's hung up by a zip line that zips through the ride.
This is why you should always sprint up your stairs at night. In 2018, a boy was up late gaming in his basement when he decided to go to bed. The basement's only light was controlled by a pull chain at the foot of the stairs, which meant after he pulled it, he'd be downstairs in darkness, so he would sprint up the stairs. Because everybody knows if you're not fast enough, this guy'll get you. So he did just that, and he made it upstairs safely when he realized he had forgotten his phone in the basement. So he took a deep breath and headed right back down.
Here's a short, scary story. It was 1 a.m. and Calvin sat in his dark living room. The accident from earlier that evening just kept replaying over and over in his head. He was in his car and the light turned red, but he was in a hurry, so he just accelerated. All of a sudden, he saw an orange blur, and before he knew it, there was a body on top of his car that slid down onto the pavement beside him. A bicyclist rolled across his hood and fell out of sight. Horns started blazing and he panicked and he just drove off into the darkness. So now he just sat at home thinking, you idiot, how could you do that? And then he heard a knock on his door. It was the police. He started freaking out. He knew he couldn't afford a lawyer. He just began explaining, I'm sorry, officer. But the police officer just stood there and said, are you Calvin? I'm sorry, but your son was in a hit-and-run accident. He died on impact. I'm sorry for your loss.
Okay, you won't believe what I found. I just found something extremely dark. If you look at the Texas Department of Criminal Justice website, you'll see death row information. A list of people the government has killed, and you get to see who they are, what their crime was, their last statement, their name, jail number, and even the county they were killed in. Ooh, look, they have career opportunities. Funny thing is, the data is updated in real time, and the last person that was put down was on February 6th, 2020.
Disturbing facts you didn't ask for, but you're getting anyways. Now, I love The Wizard of Oz. It was my favorite movie growing up. But did you know that a lot of messed up things happened during the filming of this movie? Judy Garland was forced on a diet of soup, crackers, and 80 cigarettes a day. She was routinely groped and molested by a lot of the Munchkin actors. She was forced to film many hours every day and then given drugs to help her sleep. This actually contributed to her drug addiction and eventual overdose. She was even slapped by one of the directors on set. Additionally, there's a rumor that one of the Munchkin actors hanged himself on set, which many people believe can be seen in the background on one of the scenes.
What is a fact that could possibly save your life? If you encounter a mountain lion, do not turn your back on it. Walk backwards. Cats are ambush predators. They don't want to fight you head on and will wait for you to turn around to attack. In a crisis situation, people run from the door they came from. When the shooter walks into a restaurant, run for the kitchen. There's always an exit through the kitchen, and very few people will think to run there. Plus, if you're not armed, a kitchen is full of killer cutlery to defend yourself with. If someone is trying to abduct you, and fighting back or yelling for help doesn't work, then pretend to faint, or vomit on them. If those tactics don't work, then take the chance of getting stabbed or shot to escape. Once you get in the vehicle with the abductor, your odds of surviving are less than if just injured in public. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. If you are ever caught in an avalanche and buried under the snow, spit. Gravity will tell you which way is up.
These are things that you do not want to know. Part 1. On average, a solar storm happens every 150 years, and the last time a solar storm happened was 155 years ago. So that means we are overdue. After you die, your brain will still be active for about 7 minutes, so you will know when you die. Spiders usually travel in groups, so if you see a spider in your room, there's probably a few more. And for the last one, if you're not following me, this will be in your closet tonight.
Creepy stuff that's happened to you lot, part 2. This happened about 3 years ago. I woke up about 7 AM for school as normal and got on with the everyday routine: brush hair, get dressed and eat breakfast. When I was done, I got in the car and went to school. When I got there, everyone was acting like I was invisible. When the teacher shouted my name in the register, I responded and she marked me down as absent. I went to call my dad because I was upset, but I realised I didn't have my phone. This went on for the whole day. At the end of the day, I got in the car and went home. I went to my room to go and lie on my bed when I saw myself in my bed. I screamed and woke up in my bed crying, with my dad sitting next to me saying she's finally awake. I couldn't wake up, and when I asked what time it was, he said it was 4 PM and that I'd missed a whole day of school because I was in a sleep coma. My dad made that term up. But when I went to school as normal the next day, I remembered all the lessons and everything from the day before. I believe that I had an out-of-body experience, but I can't be sure.
Creepy facts, part 61. Due to the genetic makeup of our eyes, we see better in the dark with our peripheral vision. If you didn't know, that's out of the corner of your eye. Basically, the two things that help us to be able to see is rods and cones. Cones help us detect color, while rods help with light intensity. We have more rods in our peripheral vision than we do in our central vision, which means that the corners of our eyes are better able to see in the dark. So, keeping that in mind, if you see something out of the corner of your eye in the dark when you're trying to go to sleep, but it's not there when you look right at it, it could possibly be there, theoretically.
Send this video to someone that is absolutely terrified of clowns. A young boy named Nathan was walking alone to meet up with some friends at a nearby carnival. When he arrived, they rode roller coasters and eventually made their way to a circus tent with live performers. They went inside and saw a group of clowns performing. They were dancing, juggling, and one of them was riding a unicycle. The boys got closer to the stage, and the one riding the unicycle slipped and fell, and his red nose landed right beside Nathan, who picked it up, put it in his pocket, figuring the clown had plenty more. After the show was over, Nathan was walking back home when suddenly he heard a slight chuckle. He turned around and shined his flashlight. He could make out a shadowy figure holding a sharp object in his hand. The figure said in a creepy, sinister voice, "I believe you have something of mine." Nathan slowly backed away, pleading, "No, I don't. Please leave me alone." The figure stepped into the light. It was the clown from the carnival. He said, "Well, if you're not going to give me my nose, I'm gonna need yours."